Thank you for joining us today. Our topic, as you know, is customer support. What tools do you use in Zoho? As you probably already recognized in the Zoho ecosystem, there are a lot of ways to do the same thing. So today I'm going to focus on just a few of the ways that you can run your customer support or customer service, whatever it is you want to call it, or client support in Zoho so that it just works in a more systematized way. I myself have been guilty of just taking inbox chaos, and I'm actually currently working on my own customer support and trying to make it a smoother process. So this is actually a very good activity for me as I recognize as our business grows, wow, I really need better systems in place so that customer support is smoother. It's a better experience for both me and our clients. So my goal is for you to get more mental clarity and for your inbox to not be your home base for customer complaints and questions and requests, but really have a productive flow for how you manage all of these things. That is the goal of today's conversation. Now, I put up a poll earlier. Oh, and I forgot to publish results. Ashley, could you go ahead and publish the results? I want to see what were the percentages.
Just did.
Awesome. Thank you. I don't know if everybody sees it because it's not on my screen, but I'm presenting. What were those percentages? What was the highest? I'm curious.
Okay, so we actually have equals for 4 out of the 5. We have email, phone, form, and social media.
Wow. Equal across the board. That's really interesting.
Across the board.
Social media is not a very popular one, but I know for retail in particular or B2C, that's pretty common. So for those of you who do not know me, I'm Candace. I'm your presenter today. I am a Zoho partner and a marketing and sales strategist with lots of experience doing these things, making the mistakes, finding the better solutions, and trying to figure out how to help my community. And so thank you for being here today and being a part of our community. So we want to go from basically disorder and exhaustion, which I'm sure we all have felt at some time, to structure and balance. So this is just going to lay the foundation of how we're going to approach this. We're looking for a more centralized way to collect inquiries, potentially from multiple channels, as we just saw from our poll, so that you have a single unified, I'll call it a dashboard. I don't always love that word because most people think dashboard means analytics, but a single place. And really, I want to reduce your need to switch from email and chat and social to just bring it into one place to just reduce your cognitive load. I love automated ticket routing or task assignment. Again, that depends on your business, which is why we're covering several different apps and different approaches today. And it's really based on your process and your customer needs. So the overall goal is to reduce your response times, and I wrote improve customer satisfaction, but it really is also to give you some sanity. So what are the options? There are probably more options than these. These are just the ones I know and have used and tested out. The obvious is Zoho Desk. And then there's a combination of kind of Zoho projects with Zoho Forms, and I'll get to that. SalesIQ, Cliq, which you might be surprised about. And then last one we're going to touch upon is Zoho Survey, which I think of as more customer feedback than it is customer support. So how do you choose the right tool for your team? This is the things I want you to keep in mind as we talk today. First, I want you to identify your team's primary needs. Like, is it customer support? Is it more project management, sales tracking? Like, what is it you're trying to get? And yes, it is customer support to a certain extent, but the more granular, right? Outline that goal. Like, is it about real-time response rates? Is it just about managing tasks so they don't go like fall through the cracks? Is it about collecting feedback? And when you have all that, then it's easier to align which Zoho tool works so that you don't have all this overlap. And one other thing to keep in mind is, what are your current communications? You're going to have a shift if you, let's say, have always accepted email and now you want to go away from email. You have to think about the shift in the user experience for your customers and how you navigate that. So take all these things into consideration as we continue. The first one up is Zoho Desk. So I see Zoho Desk, it is a competitor to Zendesk or what's the other one? I forget, Jira, a lot of those common ticketing platforms that you may see in other businesses. It's ideal for larger companies, but small companies can use it too. It's when you have a lot of inquiries and you just sometimes feel flooded, especially with email. It comes with a default support email, and it's usually something to the effect of like, my company name at zohodesk.support.com, something like that. So whenever somebody emails that email address, it creates a ticket for you. It's going to say, there's a ticket, and it's for this person, and here's their problem. Now, Zoho Desk also has like fill out a form. They also have a web chat tool. They have a lot of different ways. So if you are doing with multi-channel and you like ticketing systems where it's like, check these off my list, but it's not necessarily a task, Zoho Desk can be a really good one, especially if you have multiple team members and maybe it's about assigning, well, if it's billing, it goes to this person. If it's, delivery of something, it goes to that person. The ability to assign tickets based on the type of request, Zoho Desk excels at this. It is a very robust tool. It comes with like a big setup. In fact, I often tell people Zoho Desk is actually just like CRM structurally, because you have a contact module, you have a ticketing module. So if you're already using Zoho CRM, it's actually not too much of a shift in your mindset to understand how to use it. It's just taking the time to do the initial settings and setup to get in there. And if you prefer Zoho Projects, you can also convert things into tasks in Zoho Projects. And it also has a built-in integration with CRM. So if you're in the CRM and Joe Treehouse has submitted a ticket, you can go to Joe Treehouse's contact record and see a section called Zoho Desk, and it'll have all of his tickets. In this deck, I included lots of links you'll see, like this integration with CRM. I include the deck in the thank you email that you get right after this webinar. So you will have this whole deck as well as the recording to get all these links. And just to give you an idea, this is what Zoho Desk looks like. So you got your customers are here. Again, this will be synced with CRM. If you have chat set up, this will be your instant chat. Right now I'm in the tickets module, so you can see it creates a ticket, usually based on the subject line of the email. But now that Zoho Desk has AI so well integrated, Zia specifically, but you can also use ChatGPT or Claude, it will allow you to better adjust those ticket names and those descriptions, and you can summarize them. You also can have a knowledge base in here. So if there's commonly asked questions, you can hear the answers. So again, the bigger your team gets, it makes it easier for you to grab quick answers from that knowledge base, especially if you just don't know it off the top of your head. If you, for example, run a company where there's lots of different components in your products, and somebody says, wait, what's the replacement for this? You don't have to memorize that. You can just pull from your knowledge base and say, the replacement for this is, and it'll help populate that. And as you email back and forth with that person in the email chain, it'll update the same ticket. There are nuances with it, like anything else, but it is a very robust tool and allows you to do quite a bit. One of the big caveats I say with Zoho Desk is a lot of people see where it says all departments, and they just start making departments for everybody. Departments are like silos. If I was to rename it, I'd call it department silos. So if you are a small business, just have one department with your business name. That's my big tip for you today. Because otherwise your knowledge bases are going to be separate, your tickets are going to be separate, and that can cause a lot of frustration. I am a Zoho Projects user, so I am partial to this this approach. So Zoho Projects is good for like large requests, creative requests, more custom requests, where it's not just like this thing is broken, I need this quick replacement. So this is very good for professional services, where clients can email you technically, though I don't recommend that approach, or you can use a Zoho form for them to submit a request. And that request can become a task in your Zoho projects. I like that because I live in my Zoho projects and I can check things off there. You can alternatively use comments. I want to show it to you, but I don't have a screenshot. If you guys want to dig into that, there's an email alias that you can use to create a task, right? And you can say, hey, client, use this email anytime you want to create a task for me. Or there's an email alias for the comments on an existing task, which is a little bit better contained. Otherwise, your clients might make a million tasks, and it might get a little chaotic, and you don't want that. But it does come with, each one has a unique email alias if you want to do that. But like I have here in this bullet point, it parses the email where the subject becomes the task name and the body becomes the description. The nice thing is if somebody includes attachments, it will just attach them, and that can be very helpful. Zoho Forms allows it to be a little bit better structured because then you can map the fields that are in the form to the correct place. The only problem with Zoho Forms is if you have multiple projects, right, multiple clients, then you're also going to need Zoho Flow to do the integration, which again, if you guys need help with those kinds of things, that is what we do. So I'm always helpful to guide you through that process. And I just have, again, a link here to Zoho Projects Infinity, which is the newest, most beautiful version of Zoho Projects. It is a work in progress, in my opinion. However, there's been a lot of great pieces to that release, including the ability to have custom modules in your Zoho projects. I'm very happy with the tweaks. It includes a lot of AI. So in theory, you could draft a task and say, or draft a project, excuse me, and say, make a bunch of tasks based on this project description. It's okay. It has a way to go, but I think it's a really good first step in making Zoho Projects a more robust task management platform. And I'm really happy with it thus far. And just to give you an idea, if you've never used Zoho Projects, this is kind of what it looks like. Here's my pretend project for the construction company. Here's all my tasks. You can have different statuses for your tasks and different owners, start dates, due dates. If time logging is important, you can actually do that in both Zoho Desk and Zoho Projects. So if knowing how much time each effort took, you can do that in either place. This is the example of Zia helping, like here, create tasks for my project. Use the description to do this. Bloop, you click generate and it makes the task. The more you use it, obviously, the smarter it's going to get. It's pretty good though, and I'm pretty happy with it. The other thing I really like about projects is, and I don't have a screenshot of it, but their new default analytics dashboard really help you evaluate like how healthy a customer is in terms of their tasks and issues. So you can see how many things are open, how many things are stuck, how much time was spent versus how much time was allocated. It's a really robust tool. And you'll also notice on the left here where it says issues. That is the direct integration between Zoho Desk and Zoho Projects. So if you like using both, you can do that. Usually the use case is somebody submitted a ticket to Zoho Desk. It's way bigger than a quick answer. It really needs more digging. It's truly like a mini project or a big task. That's often when people say, hey, go add this as an issue into Zoho Projects. And a quick tip, if you are a Zoho Mail user as well, there is an extension in Zoho Mail where you can actually scrape an email and say, make this into a task. So I included the link to that extension. It is a Zoho extension, not like a third-party one. So it's free and it's really easy to use. I know people who really like it. And you can make it a task or a bug. Again, that comes down to your preference of user experience. I like tasks. Some people like bugs. You can use both. But when you do this, you can say, scrape this email. It'll make the subject line the task name. It'll make the description the task description. Of course, you can edit it, right? It gives you a little pop-up window. But that's when you can also say the status, the due date, who it's assigned to. So it's a really good flow from one into the other. All right. But what if I just get a ton of general questions? This is a common issue, right? It's not like a task, not truly a ticket. It's just like a generic question. And it could be maybe answered in a very simple way. Well, that's often when you want SalesIQ. So SalesIQ is going to do two things. I actually recommend SalesIQ in general because SalesIQ, even if you don't use the chat functionality, you can use the tracking functionality. It will allow you to track users engaging on your website. And if you have it properly integrated with CRM, you can, let's say, send an email to a lead and see, oh, that lead clicked the link in my email and they visited all these pages on my website. So that's one functionality that's just beautiful, wonderful. Go use that today, no matter what. The other one, though, is the live chat. So you can have live chat or a chat bot. And again, the chat built into Zoho Desk is actually built on SalesIQ, so it has similar functionality. So you can make an answer bot, which just has answers to common questions. That way a person doesn't have to be there. But you could also have a live chat where you have, let's say, a customer support team that answers questions live. Or you can have a combination of the two, where you have commonly asked questions, and if you can't answer the question, then route it to a human. And on top of all of that, you could also integrate it, big surprise, with Zoho Desk, right? So if it becomes something more, you can integrate with Desk. You can also integrate with CRM if you just want notes on somebody's account. And it's really helpful to be able to analyze that data. And this is good for companies who do get those really generic inquiries. I like it because it's both customer support and sales support, right? And so you can kind of navigate who it should go to. And it can better educate, frankly, your support team, the way people word questions. Yeah, and it just gives people better response times. Some people would argue that chatbots are dead, or live chat is dead. I think it just depends on your industry, and it depends on who your customers are, if they're willing to talk. I find that when people think there's a live person there, that sometimes they're more willing. And they'll often use a chatbot when they just cannot find a simple answer on your website. Well, that's a whole other problem. If you can't answer it on your website content, why is it not there? It should be somewhere. But the chatbot or even live chat can be very useful in that. And this is kind of what it looks like if you are the user logged in. So you can get people from, Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or Instagram, or I think this is the one that's from the phone, and this is the one like mobile from your website. You can get it from all these different channels where people are live chatting with you. And when it's integrated with CRM, again, it'll tell you, oh, this person is a current customer and here's their open deal. So you'll have CRM data that's live next to it. And then, oh, where's my picture? There it is. When you want to integrate with Zoho Desk, this is kind of what it looks like. It's like convert my chat into a ticket. So it's like it's a high priority. Here's my status. You can have classification if you want, if there's a specific department, and then you submit it. It's going to grab that whole transcript, make it into a ticket. Like I said, this also, I talked about the CRM integration. That's going to show you information about that person. So there's a lot you can do with SalesIQ if you need that real-time support. Now, Cliq is another fun and almost kind of tricky one. I think of Zoho Cliq as twofold, and I'm going to give you the first part first. There's Zoho Cliq for internal communication, where you can have a Cliq notification come from Desk or projects or SalesIQ or wherever you are. And maybe you have a dedicated channel where just customer issues get loaded. And that way the entire team has transparency, and then whoever grabs it first grabs it. And you could chat internally, like I'm chatting with Ashley about, hey, this person has this question, da, 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 da. And Ashley goes, oh, I got it. She can handle it, right? Maybe because I'm on a call with somebody else. So she and I, it's like Slack. It's a competitor to Slack or Teams. It's an instant messaging platform if you've never used it before. And like I said, it integrates basically with all of these other platforms. I actually went crazy and just linked to their whole handbook because I love Cliq and I think it's really powerful. A few years ago, I want to say it was 3 or 4 years ago, they launched Zoho Cliq Networks. Oh, and I'll say that next. This is what Cliq looks like. Right, here's my pretend conversation. Wherever you see the hashtag, that's a channel. Wherever you see the circles, that's like a group chat with other people on your team. If there's a little mobile phone, that means somebody's on the phone. You can have like a check-in status, like I'm available, I'm not available. What I actually really love about this is it's free. So if you know someone who isn't even a Zoho user, they can still get Zoho Cliq for free and join. which is super helpful. It also integrates with calendar stuff. You can see projects is here. There's just a lot you can do in Cliq. I feel like doesn't get enough love, and Zoho Cliq is a really powerful platform. You might notice the phone icon here. You can make phone calls to people via Cliq. So I'm chatting here with William and say, William, we should just talk on the phone about this. And I can just click that and it calls him on his computer and we're just having a chat. We didn't have to schedule a meeting and coordinate because we were already chatting. I just can call him right away. And the other one is the Cliq network. Now that's actually almost like a separate Cliq, not organization, but like instance, I'll call it. If you want to have an external Cliq network just for your clients. That way you kind of keep your business stuff in one place, your internal stuff here, and your customer stuff there. And you can make a channel that's something like general help, questions about our product, announcements. And it also then, if you're aiming to create community, then it can kind of create community among your customers. Like, oh, I had a problem with this, but this is how I solved it. So Cliq could be used in that way. And I linked here to how you can get it set up. Now, the caveat, of course, is it costs money if you go beyond 100 users. So if you have a big community, it costs money, but it's not super expensive. Like I said, I think it's 100 users is free, and beyond that, you have to start paying. So it's worth at least test it out, see what you think. But I do like that very much. I'm not using this for myself. I actually, since all of our customers and clients are Zoho users, I just send them an invite via email and say, hey, you're welcome to talk to me on Cliq. And that way they can send me instant messages. And if they have multiple team members, we often make a channel for that team. And that way, if I'm really busy, again, I'm going to use Ashley as an example, Ashley sees the message. It's maybe a question she cannot answer. She can ping me and be like, Candace, did you see that? Are you on top of this? And we can keep each other in check that way because we're often on Cliq rather than deep in our email. So our goal with all this is to have seamless customer support, whether it's Zoho Desk or projects or Cliq, and how they can all work together with that unified experience, or just collecting structured data, or using SalesIQ for those real-time interactions, or Cliq for more collaboration. Any of these could be your solution. It depends on your goals. It depends on your customers. And it depends on the user experience you want for your team. So the last one I haven't touched on is Zoho Survey. And that's because I feel like it's kind of in its own little bubble. It's really best for customer feedback. And technically you can use Zoho Forms for that. But if you want more like that sentiments and ratings and the NPS score, Zoho Survey is a more visually appealing version of Zoho Forms. And you can send a survey out of your CRM to someone via email, and when they respond, their responses will show up in their CRM record. So over time, if you're asking for customer feedback over and over again, it just makes your life a lot easier. Both tools are fantastic. You can use them, you can pre-fill them, and they both have different integrations. Zoho Forms has more integrations. Zoho Survey has different integrations, right? So there's good and bad to everything. It just depends on your goal and what you're trying to achieve. So I also linked here to all the Zoho Survey features if you want to dig through that. And this is just to give you an idea, like when you're building a Zoho Survey, it is similar to Zoho Forms, but they have some built-in things like NPS is just a built-in thing. Like here, give us a net promoter score or a star rating, a slider scale, ranking. You could just drag and drop those and even have, like, as this shows, a gallery of customer satisfaction surveys. I love that they give you some of those pre-built ones because sometimes you're like, I don't know, what should I ask? It does help when you're trying to figure that out. I'm so glad you could be here today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.